Hello, Library Board. This is Dawn coming to you from my desk in the corner of the meeting room using some of the technology that we've been using for programs. I know some of you have followed some of the programs and videos and stories that we've been doing for programming, and that's great. I would love for you guys to use the stories in the cloud as well, just to get your feedback and get your ideas. I try to have a slight theme for each month, but not a huge one. It's just a collection of stories. And we do have some guest readers coming up. I know that Mayor Biscard is interested in doing it, but I don't have a recording from him yet. And I also have a recording from Laura Legis, so she will be on our March menu. And I believe Mr. Phillips is going to be on the March menu as well, but I probably need to remind him. We've had some kids read as well. So my kids have done some reading because it's pretty easy for me to get my own kids to read and record them. But we also had some homeschool kiddos read in the menu that's there right now. And that was really fun. And so this month I have a new sheet. You can see that these are upstairs, and we can do more with this if you think it would be a fun idea. And I encourage you to take one of these as well, so that you can read a story. And it will be really fun to have guest readers because it's exciting to hear different voices reading stories. Everybody does it a little differently. You can choose your own book, which is fine. A recording of approximately 3 to 8 minutes is best. So typical children's literature is perfect. If you don't have a copy of the story you want to read, I'm sure we can find it for you, or we can give you something to choose from, but we would love to have you read. So let me know if you are interested and I will get you supplies. Otherwise, just make a recording and send it to me and I'll get it on the menu. We have some other really kind of exciting things. Movavi is a free service provided by the state library, and they work with several different states. I don't know all of the details, but they have been working with us to track Wi-Fi usage at the library. And you probably noticed we have different Wi-Fi signs up. The network didn't actually change. It's just the name of the network so that we can track usage. So we'll be encouraging patrons to actually physically switch to this new network name so that we can track when people are using the Wi-Fi. And right now we're kind of in a transition because we just changed that network name. So the Wi-Fi statistics report is not really accurate for this month, but we're getting there. So we're getting that fixed. And the other piece that Movavi is doing, and I actually got to pilot the program, which was really exciting. They have created a calendar, like a planning calendar, that allows us to track numbers the way the state library wants them reported. So the state library worked with Movavi, and actually the lady that has been helping us set things up created the program. It's like any other online calendar, except in the box where we create the event, there's all the different options, like is it online, is it virtual, is it passive, is it a combination of live, virtual, and content recording. And then we can also then track the different kinds of visitors. We can track views, so not just visitors but also views later on in the month. And it gives us an opportunity to show how we've had other engagements in different platforms. So it will track what platform we use, if it was like Facebook Live or if we used YouTube. It tracks all those things. And the pilot was really fun. I enjoyed doing the pilot. It has now moved into, it's going to be released statewide now, and the ILA will be doing some more training, which will help us to be even more accurate with the way that we actually put the numbers in the events. There's also, we've had really good response with the virtual story time with the 9 people who've been coming. So most people are not super excited to have their kids sit in front of a screen, even if it is for story time. The kids who are coming are having a great time, and we're enjoying it, and it's fun to have that interaction. The connectivity is not always good, so it's hard to have a good conversation with them, but they seem to really enjoy the stories at the very least. It doesn't work for toddlers. Toddlers don't want to look at a computer screen to get a story, so story time has become more of an older kid thing, at least for now. I'm not sure what we'll do with the rest of story time, or how we will begin to accommodate the patrons who are not able to do the virtual story time, or pull it up at home with the content recordings, because I'm also doing content recordings almost every week of the same stories that are in story time, just so that people can pull them up at a later time if they can't sign on at our virtual 10 o'clock time. Craft kits, we've had a different craft kit every week, and then we have an extra craft kit every other Tuesday, and those are going really well. It's very fun because those numbers are actually higher than what they were when we were doing it on site, because it doesn't matter what time. Anybody can come pick those up anytime and participate in it. So that is helping our numbers on that program. So it's kind of an odd balance, but I would say that we'll probably continue the craft programs in this manner for a longer period of time, probably, than, we'll continue it after we begin on-site programs, whenever that is, because people can be flexible and get it whenever they want. We are doing something a little bit different in March. So the summer reading program theme is Reading Colors Your World, and it will feature the Oliver Jeffers crayons. If you're not familiar with Oliver Jeffers, I'm not sure if you can see them from here. Oliver Jeffers wrote the books about the crayons, The Day the Crayons Quit, The Day the Crayons Came Back or Came Home. They're really cute little crayons, and so most of the artwork for this summer is Oliver Jeffers crayons. And so I'm sure you'll see in the meeting room for the board meeting, there's lots of colors. We've got lots of color things happening. And so in March, we're going to encourage the patrons to participate in our promotional products. So this week, the contest is to create a coloring page. And so I'm not sure how many will participate. We don't always get a lot of return of things, so we'll see if people bring things back so that we can actually have a contest. But we'll also do a contest for a bookmark and a book jacket, and I don't have the other contests in front of me, but each week is a different contest, and then we'll announce the winners the following week, and then we will copy those things and use those this summer as part of our promotional materials. And everyone knows kids love to see their stuff being featured, but this is not age specific. So if grandma wants to do a coloring page, she can. It's not just for the kids. So everybody, all ages, are encouraged to participate. March 15th, we're going to do something a little bit new and different. So during COVID, the state library wanted kids to be involved and get to do stuff. And so they created this trivia night that is entirely Zoom. It's all virtual. And the third one is March 15th. And I have a bunch of teenagers who are interested in doing this. They really want to do it. They don't have devices at home, and they don't have internet at home. So the maximum number on a team is 10. So we'll be socially distanced with masks on here in the meeting room, and I can project the Zoom, the actual trivia night, up onto the TV, or I'm sorry, onto the wall with the projector. And I was doing a training and verifying all of this with the other state librarians, and they're really excited about it because essentially we'll kind of be a pilot or guinea pig for programs that they're hoping to do in that way, so that the libraries within the state can be connected and do events like a trivia night, or there's a new thing called Library Quest that they're hoping to get started. And so what it will mean is the kids will be in the room, and then we'll get a series of questions, and this is all run through the youth director for the state library, Angie Manfredi. So she will banter with the kids and have some fun with the kids, and then we'll get our questions. And so each round is a series, I think, of 10 questions, and they'll answer the questions and I will fill it out and send it back. And then at the end, then Angie will announce the winners, and they're not really winning anything. It's just for fun. And I'm just so excited that teenagers want to actually do something. It's really exciting. So we're going to try that and see how that works. The state library sets this up. I don't know how frequently they plan to do it, but it's nice to be able to participate and not have to do a lot of planning. And we're not promoting it hugely because obviously we're just going to have up to 10 people here. If someone wanted to Zoom in, we can also do that. So we'll figure that out. But it's going to be really fun. It's very exciting. And then I think the last thing are the grants. So the American Libraries Association grant for Libraries Transforming Communities, that grant has been submitted. That one is specifically for community conversations regarding technology and digital citizenship and 21st century skills. So a lot of those things that our kids have just kind of had dropped in their lap that has never been used before, not just having classes on screens, but just the whole concept of being online and on a screen for so much of the time. The Scale Up grant through the Iowa's Governor's STEM Council, I applied for 3 more of those grants, and they are amazing. So if those grants go through, they will be more programs to help with digital citizenship and 21st century skills and STEM story times and things like that just all go together and completely align with what the younger school teachers are looking for as well. And the other grant, DECO, I got DECO grant submitted today, and I know that one, all 3 of these are in your agenda, so you have those notes. But you'll notice in the meeting room, it's really kind of hard to set things up in a distanced way. And I know that social distancing and all of that is not a forever thing, but it does highlight the difficulties of spacing things out in this room and in other areas of the library. So that grant is for round tables, and they have whiteboard tops, so they can be used for various kinds of programmings, including STEM programs and robotics programs and lots of other things. They would also be great. They're easy to clean, so they're great for public use. Should we decide to use this room for the public again, they'd also be great for fundraisers, and they will provide better seating and more spaced out seating. So then during flu season, we already have these things in place, so we can provide safe programming during other seasons when germs are present. The Prairie Meadows grant doesn't open until later in the spring, and so we'll see if we can do anything with that grant. Last year they did not award grants to anyone unless they were very specifically connected to COVID. So they did things like for child serve and for police forces and hospitals and care centers, that kind of thing. So any programming or community organization like a library was automatically shut out of that grant program, even if, because we had applied. So even applicants were just, they just drew a line and only considered certain applications. So hopefully that won't be the case this year, but I don't know. So I will keep you posted on that. And gosh, I think I've babbled on a lot, and I do appreciate getting to give you an update. I try to keep everything up on Facebook so that you guys can see everything that we're doing. The new website is wonderful, and I try to keep that as up to date as possible as well. Sometimes Technology takes a little longer than I think it's going to, but the website should be pretty much updated, and I'm working on getting some of the stories and videos into an archive page so they're still accessible, but then we can keep the newest ones at the front of everything. And of course, let Chris know if there's something specific that you are wanting to see on the website or on our Facebook page. We do also have an Instagram account, which I'm learning about how to use for youth programming specifically. And that is the same as our Facebook, so it's at Chariton PL. And go ahead and follow us, like us on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Chariton Public Library. That just helps us keep everything in front of the public. So the more likes and views and all of that we can get, the better the percentage is for our patrons seeing what we're doing and engaging with it. So we've also been talking about ways to incorporate more adult programs, and I kind of have an ongoing list of things that sound exciting, or suggestions from patrons or from Chris and Lori. We've talked about doing some craft type programs, things like bookmaking, journal making, a canvas painting night. There is actually somebody here in town who teaches those, which who knew, right? There's also the option of having speakers come in. COVID pretty much shut down every possibility that we had for on-site programs. There are many performers and speakers who are coming back to do things, but we need to make sure that we would have a good audience for them as far as numbers coming to actually enjoy the program. So there's kind of a fine line yet that we're still walking as far as what we can schedule. The performers for the summer are scheduling now, but again, I'm not scheduling anything with the on-site performers because I'm not sure what all we will be able to do. And as far as adult programming, we will provide that as we can. We've got a lot of supplies and a lot of ideas, and as we can actually schedule things and provide those programs, then we will do that. Those programs, there are a lot of adults doing the craft programs that we're doing right now, which is why they're in that adult category or family category, but there's not a lot of adult virtual programs. State Library yesterday, when I was meeting with them about the Battle of the Brains event for the teens, there are some possibilities of doing virtual book clubs and that kind of thing, potentially even statewide, and having a room that's open that people can join virtually statewide to have book discussions or other kinds of discussions. But connectivity is an issue here in Chariton, so those virtual programs do not go over as well as maybe they do in Des Moines or Johnston or Urbandale, which is where a lot of these patron or library directors are from that I was talking to. So we have a bigger issue with connectivity here, so there's not a lot that we can do with virtual programming. So the adult programs is on the list. It's probably the biggest thing yet to create and to build in the next few months, hopefully, but that will depend entirely upon how we can provide programs for patrons. And I still would love more feedback from patrons, from the board, from others on what kinds of adult programs would be well received. We don't want to hire a speaker to come in and it's a topic that nobody wants to hear about. So we want to make sure that we are actually providing opportunities that our patrons want. So there is that, and surveys are difficult. It's hard to get people to participate in surveys. Everyone is so bogged down and tired of screens that it is very, very challenging to get feedback from people. People are always willing to give negative feedback, very rarely want to give positive feedback or potential feedback, things for potential programs or ideas. So it kind of puts us in a quandary because it's hard to provide new things when we don't know what people want, and we don't have a way to ask them. We don't really collect a lot of email addresses here. We have some, but most people, we don't. That's just not how we communicate with patrons in general at the library. So it is a challenge to get that feedback. If the board has a suggestion for how we could maybe get some community feedback in in some kind of community survey, that would be great. We just, other than Facebook, there's not a lot of ways to get that word out. Facebook or a paper survey that we put out on the counter for people to fill out. So that's something that we're still searching for options on. Would love some feedback or some ideas on that. So anyway, thank you again for watching my babbling video, and I hope you guys are enjoying the sunshine, and I look forward to hopefully getting to see you soon. Have a super day.